All right, Metal Maniacs, it's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. Very, very excited today. I am chatting with the one and only Mr. Chris Dovas, of course, of Seven Spires and Testament, and then also his own solo project called Dovas. Thank you, Chris, so much for joining me. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Great.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, probably for those that may not know, so the big news that's come out, and I can't believe anybody wouldn't know this unless they're sleeping under a rock. But the big news was, of course, earlier this year, you joined the Mighty Testament, and just recently came back from touring with them in Europe, correct?
Yeah, we just did South America and Europe pretty much back to back. So that was
Nice.
pretty busy, but it was nice. It was really good. It was nice to join and then have just a handful of dates. So
Right
it
on.
was nice and locked in now.
Nice, nice, very cool. How did so? I'm really curious. How did that transpire? Like, you're joining the band. I know. Was it last year? I think you filled in a couple for a few shows, right?
Yeah, so I sent them some videos a while ago, and Eric then called me because Dave had uh, some Misfits dates, and so I filled in for like week and a half or two in September of 2022 on that like Bass Strikes Back tour.
Oh, okay.
And then Dave's schedule just got really crazy, as you saw, Dave's statement and everything. And I got the call back, which was super cool. So Eric was like, "You already know all the songs, can you do these tours?" And that's what happened. And now I'm here to stay, which is super cool.
That's
So, and it's
very
an
cool.
honor to be a part of it too, because I grew up listening um, to Testament.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I would
yeah,
imagine yeah, that's got to be like, I mean, that's the dream, right? Like the
yeah, exactly. I mean, I never, you know, if you told middle school me or something that I would have been doing this now, which I would have, wouldn't have
right.
believed it. So, but yeah, it's an honor, and I'm super happy to be a part of it.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, it's funny you meant. I mean, I feel the same way. I think if I, not that I'm a musician or anything, but I think if I told middle school me that I'd be having a conversation over the internet with the drummer of Testament, that person's mind would be blown as well. So, um, pretty
Cool.
cool. Pretty cool. So that being said, I was curious. Do you guys have? Is there a plan for an album at this point? Is there any writing going on with the band? I mean, I know it may be too early at this point, but
Yeah, everything's in the early stages. Where me and Eric are working on some stuff, as you've probably seen some of the interviews with Eric and stuff. Just from what the band's publicly announced and everything, there's some songs in the works, and we're working on that now, and it's coming out really cool. I don't know what I'm allowed and what I'm not allowed to say yet,
gotcha.
so I'll
Understand.
just kind of keep it at that because that's what I've seen them mention publicly. So
Perfect.
it's going to be cool though. I can say it's sounding really great.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I don't want to get you in any trouble with it,
Yeah, yeah,
with PR people or anything. So very cool. That's really exciting news. I'm excited for what's to come.
yeah.
Uh,
It should be really cool, man. I'm excited.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I've been following your career for a while now, especially with the Seven Spires stuff. I think you're a phenomenal drummer, and I think I think you're a really good fit with Testament. And obviously, I think if anybody pulls up any of the live footage that's been posted, of you playing with them, I mean, you fit right in there. It just seems like you guys really gelled well and very quickly. Um,
Yeah, we all get along super well too, which is awesome. Like, I feel like when the friendship is there, it also helps the playing on stage because you interact with each other and you have some inside jokes and stuff that come out when you're up there, and it's a lot of fun. So it didn't take long to really like start to gel, which was nice. And also I had those fill-in dates, like I said, back in September. So when I came back, it was like, what's up?
nice, nice.
So
Very cool. Do you guys have well, I guess a question for either band, for Seven Spires or Testament, do you have any shows coming up this summer? Anything else planned at this point?
uh so far, right now both bands are actually working a lot on the albums, but I have Spires is headlining Mad with Power Fest in North
Cool.
America. It's actually in it's in Wisconsin, I think. It's kind of a weird location, but yeah, it's Wisconsin. And then Testament's doing the Blue Ridge Rock Fest in Virginia. And then we have some Asian dates as well, Testament. So
right on.
In September. And then that's pretty much it. But this whole year has been pretty crazy because January through all of March, I was out with Seven Spires and did North America and Europe. And then right after, I flew and met the Testament guys and did South America and then Europe. So I've been gone for like 6 months this year already. And so I'm kind of glad that it's a little bit lighter the second half. You know, I could see my family and my fiance and actually practice, take some lessons again, because I'm always trying to learn stuff. So it's kind of, it was cool after the last like date of the Testament tour. I was like, I can't wait to practice and take some lessons again, because I find when I'm out on the road more that my like, I don't know, certain things get harder, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, because I can't practice every single day, you know, it's like muscle development exercises and things like, I mean, I still obviously play everything, but I mean, it's like I get so excited to have like a week in the practice room, you know, of just being able to do exercises and stuff again. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm super excited that we're working on the albums. I'm working on the Seven Spires and the Testament album, and then just being able to practice and get my chops ready for the next tours.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not sure, you know, if you're at liberty to discuss the Seven Spires album, what's going on with that. Do you guys have a release date, or you know, are you pushing for a certain release for that album?
I know it'll be a 2024 release because things are in the demo stages now, and I think we're recording later on, like this year, like in the fall-ish time frame. And so by the time everything's done being recorded and sent off, it should be like, you know, early next year when it's done recording. Then we have to do the whole, you know, release campaign and stuff. So it should be like early to mid 2024. Hopefully, that's my guess.
Okay.
For Seven Spires.
Very cool. Is there a working title, or you know, are you at liberty to discuss that at this point, or kind of any sort of theme going on with the album? Or
to be honest, I don't know what the concept is, because I think Adrian's still working on the concept, like the story plot and everything. You know, with all the characters and stuff, because you know we write concept albums. So I think she's still working on that, and work title. There's some tentative ones, but I don't think anything's set in stone yet. So I don't really remember. I don't really remember what the working titles were, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. And it sounds very different than the other three albums. Like, you know, all the Seven Spires albums, they sound very different from each other. So this one's no different. So should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one thing I love about that band and the way you guys write, is like you said, there's a lot of diversity within each album, and then album to album. It's you know, really fascinating band, I think, in the way that you guys you know, write music and produce music. It's very compelling. I find the music to be very compelling. It's, you know, it's stuff you know, anytime I listen to Seven Spires, it's music that I have to kind of sit down and listen. Like, really, it's definitely not background music. You've got to listen to it. You need to sit down and shut up and listen. Is what
I think it's pretty cool too about it, because I know it's really easy to just listen to a song here and there by a band, but I like that the albums that come out with the Spires are it's a big story, you know. It's like an experience. It's a journey, you know, as they say. So yeah, which I like it. I like it that way, because different parts of the, you know, the style of music that we're playing, whether we tap into black or death metal or power metal or a ballad or something, it just depends where you are in the story of, you know, when you're listening to it.
Right. So, which I would imagine has got to be both challenging and also really exciting and fun for you as a drummer to be able to, you know, kind of, you know, transition to these, you know, from these different styles within sometimes the same song, even to some degree.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that is the is fun to do, but it's nice because all of us studied a lot of different genres of music, not just metal. So it gives us a reason to use, that, I guess, knowledge, I guess, and throw it into the metal stuff. Like if we have a jazz influence or blues influence or something like that, or death metal or black metal influence, or not just one subgenre. We can break barriers across genres, do stuff like that, which is nice. It allows for a lot of freedom. Like, it's not like we do something and we go, oh, that's not in the style of Spires, because anything can be in the style of Spires, which is cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the things I think that why I gravitate towards the band so much is the fact that you do explore a lot of different elements, and it's not, I mean, for lack of a bit, people always, the labels and the genres, and it's like, oh yeah, they're a symphonic metal band. I'm like, well, yes.
Yeah.
And no.
I guess that's the easy way to describe it, right?
Yeah. But like you said, I mean, there's jazz and all sorts of cool stuff happening. So
yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
And I would imagine some of that comes from and I forgive me, I don't know the background of the other musicians in the band so much, but I know you went to this music to the Berklee School of Music, so you have a lot of background in various genres of music. As you said, not just metal. I would imagine, and I know you're also multi-instrumental, so you probably bring a lot of interesting influence to the band too, musically.
Myself,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with Spires, I mainly just focus on the rhythmic side of things, and sometimes arrangements, like, oh, this should go here, or that should go there. But I mainly focus on the rhythmic side. Usually, Jack and Adrian will write, the melodies, like the song, or the chord progressions and vocals and stuff like that, and then they send it to Pete and I, and then we throw our rhythm section. We write our rhythm section parts, which will then determine, like, rhythmically certain things, but as far as like what chord is being used or what progression is being used or what mode we're in or whatever, I don't know. It just I don't really touch into that too much in Spires, but I do with my own project. That's why I started that, so I could actually utilize a lot of the stuff that I studied at Berklee. So I don't that way I don't just like, all right, I graduated, now I never have to do this again. That's a waste of money, So it kind of keeps me on. I mean, every now and then I'll chime in or something, or at least if they're talking about things, I'm not just sitting there like not understanding because I'm a drummer or something, So that's at least the cool thing. But I wouldn't say I have a huge influence in that aspect. I mean, every now and then I throw my 2 cents in, but
Gotcha.
for the most part, I stick just with the drum parts, and that's it.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, and you mentioned, your solo project, Dovas, and which is incredible, by the way. I love it. I thought, both albums you put out are fantastic. I was curious if you do have plans to put out anything else at this point. I mean, I know you're pretty busy with the other, the 2 bands you're in, but do you have anything in the works for Dovas? Like a follow-up album?
Yeah, follow-up album. It's hard to find a lot of time right now, especially with being in 2 full-time touring bands, So this year, like, as I said, I was gone for 6 months, so I haven't really had time to do too much until I got home recently. But the good news is a lot of the music is done. I just gotta, find time in between everything else to record it and get it out, and hopefully do a tour or something, because I put the first one out and I had all these dates lined up and stuff, and then the pandemic hit, and I just totally I released it and then I couldn't do anything. Right. Then I wrote the second one in the middle of the pandemic, released it, but then shows started coming back, and then Spires started touring, and it's just been hard to find time to put energy into it, I guess, because it's a passion project, but there is music coming for it, and I hope a tour and shows and all that stuff. I hope to put more time into it, which would be cool.
Very cool. So, well, I know you play all the instruments, right? You play everything pretty much.
except for the bass. I have Pete from Seven Spires do the bass. which is very helpful because I feel like if I were to just do the bass, I would just do what the guitar did. So it's cool to have another voice. And then I usually ask a bunch of friends to do like guest solos, you know, people who've been playing guitar like as long as I've been playing drums to do solos and cool stuff like that, you know, over it. I do some, but you know, I'm not the best guitar player. So I write the songs, I do the riffs, I do the vocals, write the concepts, do the drums, and then Pete does the bass, and then whoever else I hire to do the guitar solos. And also Adrian did orchestration for me for the last one, which was cool.
Very cool for the Preacher of Lies. Nice, very cool.
Yeah, for Preacher of Lies, exactly. Yeah.
Great album, great. Yeah, I mean, they're both great. Yeah, I really enjoyed them a lot. And for those that may not be aware, it's for lack of a better term, you know, blackened death metal. You know, technical death metal. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on both those albums, and really excited. I was blown away by those, and I'm excited that you're going to continue to do that project. I think it's a great project.
Absolutely. I wish I had more time for it because I really want to start doing more with it at some point. I think that would be really cool.
You mentioned that you would like to do you know, a tour with, you know, obviously it's a solo project, but do you have a band kind of lined up for you know, a touring band?
So I did one show. That's the only thing I've done live with Dovas so far, but the guitar player is Nick Petrino. He plays with Dee Snider. And My Missing Half, and then Pete from Seven Spires, and then the drummer I used for the last show is Kendall Pariah, but we'll see if he wants to keep doing it or whatever, you know. But yeah, he was awesome, and it was killer. So, but yeah, that's the lineup, I guess. But who knows what will happen when it actually comes time to do more stuff for tour and everything like that. Right. Yeah.
Well, I definitely look forward to the new album. That's cool. That's exciting.
Cool.
So wanted to kind of switch gears a little bit and go back in the Wayback Machine. And I was curious about how you got started in music. Did you come from a musical family? Kind of what was the impetus for you? How did that all start?
It was so long ago. I started playing drums before I actually started to develop like memories, if that makes sense. You know, so my earliest memories I was already playing, but it's because my dad was a drummer, and he didn't like put me on the drum set and go, here, start playing, you know, but there was the drum set, I think, was in like cases, and the snare drum was out like on a stand, and I was a curious kid and kind of a rambunctious kid as well, and I, you know, wandered down into the basement as like a 4 or 5 year old, and then the sticks and the snare were there, and I just started banging it, and then basically for a couple of years I wouldn't stop putting the sticks down. I would always walk around the house with the sticks and stuff too, and then my dad then started showing me some stuff when I was like 6 or 7, and then I started taking lessons for real with a teacher at 9 or 10 years old. That's when I like really started to like take it seriously and learn. So, I mean, I remember going to my first lesson and stuff, but I guess I was already kind of playing, you know, like my earliest memories, I was already kind of at least banging and doing whatever, you know?
Right.
So
nice.
So that was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And what about you know, and obviously you play guitar, you sing. How did that come much later? Was that kind of more when you, as an adult, going to music school, or when did that kind of come into play?
Yeah, so I started. So it's because I went to Berkeley, and I was learning all. I wouldn't be able to practice drums because I had to work on ear training or harmony or you know, this counterpoint homework or whatever, you know, and this conducting thing or whatever I had to work on. And I there was obviously a lot of drum stuff to work on too, but there was times I couldn't practice because I had to, you know, tap into the harmonic and melodic side of music. And that's why I started piano, because I was like, I want to make sure I can use this stuff when I'm out of school, or use it to be able to communicate or write music or whatever. But I didn't grow up like listening to a lot of like piano players, you know, and so it was hard for me to find like inspiration. But then it hit me because I grew up listening to a lot of guitar players like Randy Rhoads and Yngwie Malmsteen, and I always thought like Slayer riffs were super awesome, and obviously Testament stuff, like all the thrash stuff, and I was like, you know what, I could start that. I can learn guitar, and then I was able to kind of incorporate all the stuff that I learned at Berkeley and then start to put it on the guitar, the theory on the guitar, like of the neck, is you can play the same note in like multiple different spots or whatever. So that's always threw me off when it came to like reading music and stuff like that. So I do what I can with it, but at least it keeps me writing and extra like practicing the stuff I learned at school. That way it didn't just go to waste,
Right.
And it keeps it fresh. And that way when it comes to, like, if I'm talking to the guys in Spires, or now even just conversations with Testament, I can be like, oh, they'll say I was doing this chord and whatever, and I can understand it,
Right.
At least that's how I can contribute. Oh, try to do this or try to do that. I don't just sit there like, yeah. So it's cool. And I feel like if I didn't start playing guitar, or tapping into that side of music, like actually trying to practice it in like a real life situation, then I probably would have forgotten a lot of stuff, and that would have been a big waste of money. So yeah. So that's why I started. So I came way later. I started doing guitar in college, and I wouldn't even really say I'm a singer. I learned how to do the screaming technique from Adrienne briefly. Just we were walking and hanging on a tour one time, and she showed me like how to push from your stomach, and I kind of just took it and ran with it. I don't even know if what I'm doing is correct or whatever, but it sounds good, and I think it does, and it works. So yeah, at least for the death metal and black metal stuff. But if you had me sing melodies, like actually like singing pitch and stuff like that, I get too nervous and I get shy, and I do it really good in the shower, but other than that,
right.
I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Nice. Well,
in my car, I'm really good too. In the car,
yeah.
I'm a huge, I can sing Iron Maiden and everything there.
Right. Yeah.
But in public, no, I can't do anything.
Channel Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if I sing in front of people, then I start, my voice starts cracking, or I start going sharp or flat, and I just decided, I was like, you know what, I wasn't meant to do that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and you're growling, you're screaming. It's great. It's very cool. And yeah, I mean, what better vocalist to learn from than Adrienne? I mean, she's a monster vocal. What a huge, beautiful range that woman has.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
Yeah, really incredible. I was curious. You mentioned a few guitar players there. Who were the big inspirational drummers for you? Who kind of inspired you as a drummer? Back when you were younger and now.
My favorite drummer of all time is Tommy Aldridge. He played with Ozzy in Whitesnake as well, but it was mainly the Ozzy stuff for me when I he's the guy that got me into double bass, because he had two bass drums, and there was this VCR instructional thing, and he goes, you don't need two bass drums to be cool, but it certainly helps, and blah blah blah. And as like a 9-year-old, I was like, yeah, So and then obviously a lot of his phrasings and accents and his flams and just the way he plays his pocket, his groove, it really hit me a certain way, and I still idolize him to this day.
He's a monster.
easily my favorite drummer.
That guy
all
is
time.
He's a beast. I was lucky enough to see him play live once, and it was many years ago, like 25 years ago, maybe more. I don't remember how long ago it was.
With who?
He was drumming. So it was an opening band. What was Ted Nugent was opening for Kiss, and he was drumming for Ted Nugent.
Really?
And it was incredible. I mean, I was mesmerized by him. I watched the entire show, and all it was just that curly hair and arms. That's all you could see. It was amazing. And it was
so good.
Like you said, just those grooves, and he that power. He has that kind of
the power, right?
Yeah, John Bonham power, but almost, but with swing. And he was incredible. It was amazing.
Yeah, he's insane. And as far as modern drummers, right now, I would say my favorite is Animals' leader's drummer, Matt Garska.
Oh yeah, great drummer.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. So I would say for a modern influence, someone he's older than I am, but closer to my age, I would say that he would be the next biggest influence, at least for modern drummers now. And then obviously um, classics like Mike Mangini and Mike Portnoy and Neil Peart, and then another drummer, especially that was super influential for me was Stuart Copeland.
Oh, great drummer.
From the Police, yeah. Especially with all the rudimental stuff he does from the hi-hats and splash cymbals and his accents, and he does a lot of really cool things that you wouldn't expect, and it was always unpredictable, which is why I like him a lot. So I would say Tommy Aldridge, Matt Garska, Stuart Copeland, Neil Peart, and then Mike Mangini, Mike Portnoy, a lot of those guys too. So
nice.
Yeah.
Great list of drummers right there. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then death metal guys, for death metal, the extreme stuff would be George Kalias for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent drummer. Wow. That's
yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Well, I know that you also teach, and I know you have a lesson coming up here soon, so I don't want to keep you all day.
No problem. Yeah, we got time.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I don't want to.
Thank you.
I did want to kind of switch back to SevenSpires a little bit. So I picked up. Well, I guess it came out. It's been a few months ago, but it was from last year. But the live Prog Power album. Which is fantastic, and I think for those that may not be familiar with with SevenSpires and also with your drumming, I think this album is a great introductory way to really check out the album, check out the band and check out your amazing stick work. I think it's really incredible, and I bet that was an amazing. I've always wanted to go to Prog Power. I've never had a chance to go. Just seems like it's never in the cards for me, but that must have been incredible to play that. And I know every year it's kind of the rumor that that's going to be the last year. So,
is it really? Is that what they say?
I don't know. It seems like every year he always, the organizer is always like, this is the last year I'm doing it. And then,
wow. Okay.
And then it gets announced that it's coming back the next year. So I'm probably totally wrong. But I've heard that a few times over the years.
Yeah.
I was worried that COVID was going to kill it. But it seems to be.
So it's going good now, I think. Yeah. That was a cool show. And I'm really, really proud of the performance on there, because everything you're hearing is exactly how I played it. I didn't come back and redo anything. There's no quantizing on it. There's no editing on it. There's nothing there's nothing in my performance that I had to redo. So, and I was kind of nervous for that show, because I found out when we were there that we could record audio, and they wanted to kind of release it after if it came out good. And so I was like, oh my God, the pressure's on and everything like that. And I got done, and I was so excited, because I was like, I think I nailed it,
Yeah, you did.
I think just, when you get, you're super excited after a show, I think I did it, so it was kind of like that for me after. And I'm just really, really proud of it, because I didn't have to come back and change anything, and it's you get the real raw performance of what we did that night, which is super cool.
Yeah, and it's a great set list too. It really covers, obviously there's you guys were had the most recent album, Gods of Debauchery had come out, but so there's a bunch of that on there, but there's a lot, nice breadth of kind of all of the work of the band, which is great. And kind of what we were talking about before with just all the different influences and all the different genres, you hear a lot of that on that live album, which is cool to hear. It goes from some pretty heavy stuff to some jazzy stuff with, cabaret and really, really cool stuff, really fantastic album. And I think, it's a good, especially for those people that aren't familiar with the band, I think it's a great way it's a good introduction to listen to SevenSpires.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, man. You get an experience of what the shows are like, right?
Really high energy. You guys have a really high energy live production, which I think is great. And it's obvious that you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Funny story about that show. I brought like a 4K like camera and everything because I was like, I'm gonna record drum cam for this at a really good angle. It was on a tripod. All I had to do was press record right before it. I pressed record, but then like I don't know, we had like some delay happened or whatever. I didn't want to waste recording space, so I stopped it. But then I went on stage to play like during our intro track, and I never pressed record again.
Oh no.
So I got done after This God Is Dead. That the last song, I was like, because I said I was super stoked. I was like, yeah, it was awesome, nailed it, killer. Let's stop the recording. The red light or the recording light wasn't on. It was like it just said like ready or something like that on there. Like the green, like you saw the green light or something, and I was like, oh man, they didn't record any of it.
Yeah. That's the worst feeling too. And you're like, oh yeah, I nailed it. All right, let's shit.
Can we do the show again? You know?
Let's start over. Everybody come back.
Yeah. So that's what that was like one of those like, you know, like your heart sinks a little bit, you know. But that's why I was really happy that the audio got recorded at least and it became a live album and everything. But I thought it would have been super cool to release the drum angle and then sync up the live album with it or something like that. And then it's just you can see that at least. I thought that would have been really cool, but you know, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I'll try to do it. I'll try to do it on this next one in August.
Yeah, that would be really cool. That would be cool to watch.
Right. Yeah.
I'd love to see that. Nice. Well, Chris, this has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so very much. For those of you watching, if you look in the description below, there are links. There are links to Chris's page, so you'll definitely want to check out his solo stuff. Dovas, killer albums. I've got them both. I love them. And then also there's links to SevenSpires pages as well as Testament. I'm sure you know how to get to Testament, but I've got the links in there as well. So definitely check that out, and check out if you don't have a copy of the latest Seven Spires live album at Prague Power 21, I believe. Killer album. Definitely check that out. So thank you so much for joining me, Chris. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for having me.